Today's show brought to you live from Lounge Media Group Studios. It's Pedro and the Freight Hound with the Logistics Lounge. The views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.
Yo, 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 what's crack-a-lackin', everybody? As you can see, we have fired the Freight Hound. He is no longer with us. I mean, he's like still physically with us, but he's no longer with the lounge. We kicked him off. We hired Dirty Dre in his place. So hopefully you do a good job today, Steve. If not, you're next. Your head's on the chopping block.
I'm not even going to unpack my bag.
yeah. It's you better not, man. Don't you even put your overnight bag on the counter in the bathroom, man.
Good afternoon, my friend. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, man. How are you doing?
It's a week, man. It's always new and exciting things in the world of logistics. So life is good. Wouldn't want to do anything different, man. Glad to be here with you and our friends with Easy Claw.
Yeah, man. Well, you ain't got a lot of kick it, Steve. That's all I'm saying, bro. We can be open and honest on this show. All right. There are plenty of enough more things that we could all think of doing besides working in logistics. No, I'm joking. It's absolutely amazing. It's fun. It's the greatest time you'll have in your life. Everyone should do it. 10 out of 10, highly recommend.
And that's the end of the show.
That's it right there, man. Mic drop. We're all done for the day, ladies and germs. All right, man. So, I don't know. I had something I was going to say, but I forgot what it is. But yeah, I'm good. Week's been good. Freight's moving. We're keeping the country going. And yeah, man. I mean, pretty much like you said, just happy to be here and happy to be breathing, happy to be working in this wonderful industry and ready to get to this show. So you ready to do some news real quick?
Let's do it.
Lovely. Get to some news. Lounge Media News, everyone. Brought to you by AR Doc Pro. And as always, sourced from truckingnewshub.com. And I totally forgot to pull up the screen. Boy, total utter failure today, man. Golly. Steve, you're the co-host here. You're supposed to be helping me out, man. And you were just completely letting me go here. Look, I'm just hitting the wrong things, wrong people showing up, dude.
The news is actually about Kevin.
The news is about Kevin. That's exactly what the news is about. Oh, my Lord, bro. My brain is just glitching here. So while I get my stuff together, we're just going to sit here and talk about this for a second here while I get my notes. This is actually a special edition of the news because it was written by our very own Mr. Dirty Dre that is sitting right here on the screen with us. And I read this. It was absolutely an amazing article. And so I figured since this stuff is still packed in the news right now and it's still in the front of everyone's minds, that it'd be a good thing to talk about. So now that I caught my breath because I talked too damn long. 5 days ago, flash floods ravaged the Texas Hill Country, submerging homes, washing away roads and bridges, and it dealt immense loss of life to the local communities. As search and rescue efforts transition to the daunting task of recovery, one industry will undoubtedly emerge as an unsung yet absolute instrumental hero: truck drivers. When disaster strikes, the immediate needs are stark. They need food, clean water, medical supplies, and temporary shelter. With traditional supply chains being shattered by the impassable roads and all the damage to the infrastructure, the flexibility and sheer capacity of the trucking industry becomes indispensable in times of need like this. From their initial efforts of delivering supplies like food, medicine, clothing, water, and even shelter, they'll keep going into the rebuilding stages long after the news coverage has ended. They'll still be there removing debris, delivering construction materials, helping to restore the infrastructure, and eventually bring about economic revival through all of this. And although there are countless organizations like FEMA that will provide a lot, nothing will move without the trucks and the drivers who operate them. As everyone has probably seen, there's already been a lot of viral footage of local grocery store chain H-E-B rolling out its disaster fleet, and tons of other small carriers have offered up their equipment to help in any way they can with the relief and recovery efforts. And this is what makes the trucking industry so special. And even though it can be hard to see these days, it's a brotherhood and it's a family of Americans who risk it all every day to keep America moving, and then risk it even more when their fellow Americans need help. So today, let the news be about how amazing the American trucker is and the unseen and unselfish things that they do, especially when nobody asks or expects it from them. Steve, bro, very well written.
Thanks, man.
and obviously hits close to home for me because I'm right here with this stuff. But and just very 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 well written. Definitely tugs on the heartstrings, and it's all true, man. And I loved how you highlighted what the drivers do and the carriers, the companies themselves, the things that they do in these times of need that, like you said, they're unsung. A lot of people don't see it. HEB, they got all that love because they literally had, a 15 truck convoy going down the highway. It was unmissable. So, it was easy to catch that and for that stuff to go viral. But there's a lot of other folks that are there now and are going to be there long after in the trucking industry that, they're not going to get that viral fame from it.
Oh yeah, and I mean when disasters hit, right? We all know the first ones that are going to be there are going to be our first responders, right? They're there for the recovery, the search and rescues and stuff like that, and crucial, right? Our first responders are so crucial to this, but the aftermath of what happens is truly on the unsung heroes of the trucking community. And people always complain on social media when trucks are coming up and down the road or trucks are in their way or whatever, but the world that the trucking industry brings to everything from what's on the shelves to restoring and rebuilding communities is crucial.
Couldn't say it better myself, my friend. Yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Not quite like I said, not quite news, just bringing some glory and some recognition to some folks that don't get it enough. And with that said, there's our news. Steve, you got anything you want to add to that, bud?
No, you did a great job with that, sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I tried to give you the opportunity to read it yourself. I was like, oh man, we got to hear it in the voice of the person who wrote it. Like no one's going to be able to put the passion behind it like you. But
that takes away from the Logistics Lounge news segment. You are the voice of the Logistics Lounge news segment. Hunter took it over on Drayage Junkies, and I tried to do it once, and it just didn't sound the same. So,
well, I appreciate it. And again, you ain't got a lot to kick it. I promise you, I'm not going to fire you. I'm going to make you quit. We don't pay unemployment benefits around here, buddy. All right. So we're going to, what was I saying? Before we get to them, you got anything you want to add, period, Steve, before we get to our guest here?
No, man. I'm excited for Kevin and Scott. Let's bring them on.
Lovely. All right. Kevin and Scott with Easy Claw, everyone.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing great.
What's going on, fellas?
Happy y'all are here. Glad we could finally get you on the show. We were kind of forced to. Scott did corner me at Large Cars and Guitars, and he was like, look, dude, we are not leaving this trailer until we swap numbers. And that is the absolute truth. He literally cornered me in the trailer.
Absolutely. It had been several years. And, since we originally met you and Hunter at one of the original Large Cars, and he was like, yeah, we're going to get you on the show. And I've listened to the show. And, I finally met you, Pedro, and had to corner you. It was a perfect scenario.
Scott walked to the mailbox every day, opened up the mailbox, waiting to see if his invitation was in there, and it wasn't. So he finally got the opportunity to grab you outside the bar trailer and have a conversation.
Absolutely.
And it was supposed to happen last year, having him on the show. And I don't know, Hunter was supposed to do it, and then something happened up the schedule. It never got scheduled, and it just kind of went to the wayside. And we saw him at every single truck show that we went to. We would see Easy Claw there with a booth, or just you guys walking around, and same thing. It's like, hey man, we're going to get you on the show. We're going to get you on the show. But you know what they say? What's that saying about waiting for good things? Whatever that saying is about good things, and how you have to wait for them. That's what this is.
Really, Scott, who did you have the conversation with afterwards at the bar trailer that now is the co-host of the show that made it happen?
That is very true. Steve made it happen. It sounds like I might be able to get on another podcast too at some point for the Drayage Junkies. So
absolutely, That'd
There
be
you
a
go.
great one for you to get on and talk to the drayage community and the drayage carriers with and talk about Easy Claw. Absolutely, good point. I'll
Yep.
be responding much quicker and getting you on the show.
To nobody, it's not like the phones go two ways, and it's not like I was burning up the other way either. But always good to see you guys at all the shows that we go to. So much fun hanging out, and just good people representing more good people in this trucking industry, like you guys were talking about earlier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, that is exactly what it's all about. I agree. Everything you just said, man. That's all just about supporting each other, and even talked about an interview we did about you see the same people at the shows, and you start to really build these friendships and these bonds and everything, and eventually it pours over, and you start doing things together. And so this is a great example of that. Kevin, how are
Yes,
you, my
sir.
man?
Doing great.
How
So
have
it's a
you?
testament, actually, what you just did. Transactions don't always take place in a boardroom or in an office. Where did you do it? At the bar trailer.
That's
Yep.
right. That's
Yep.
right. In the
Socializing,
back
talking.
in the back of a 30-year-old trailer that's owned by some random guy who just lets people come in and sit down in it, and
Drink some beer and listen to some great music.
Absolutely.
if you talk about how we meet certain people in this industry, and you just leave just little details out, you know what I mean? Where'd you meet the guy? Oh,
Bar trailer.
Yeah, bar trailer. What?
BC will be happy to hear that later on.
Oh, Brandon. I'm wearing a Brandon shirt, matter of fact. Look at that. From Large Cars and Guitars. Mayberry Chrome Shop. Holler, holler. I'm going to send Brandon an invoice now. We just gave him a plug right there. Boom.
So who do we want to start with? Let's start with Kevin. Kevin, tell us about. Actually, I don't even remember the line. Pedro, what's Hunter's? I should have memorized his line. Tell.
God, this is an absolute debacle tonight, man. God, what the heck is going on here? See,
Things come to
my
those who
boy,
wait.
my dude Hunter's not on, man. It's throwing everything off, man. It's
Right?
everything off.
Everybody has their job, and when you try to do somebody else's, you're unsuccessful. But
That
Kevin,
is exactly right. Exactly
tell
right.
us
So,
about Kevin and how you became the founder or whatever with Easy Claw.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm not the founder, and I am going to defer and transition this to Scott because he came on board first. We had a history of a past relationship, business relationship, and he came on board first, and he got to work with the founder for a much longer time than I did. So I'm going to transition this to Scott first, and then we'll move over to the secondary guy.
all right. So we'll start over. We'll start over. This is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Just wait. All right, Scott, we're going to start you off the way we start everybody off, and that is, who is Scott Stillwell, and how did you get to be where you are with Easy Claw?
Absolutely. Thanks, Pedro. So, yeah, I guess just a little background about me. I didn't get into the trucking industry until about 5-6 years ago. So before that, I had, lived in Cincinnati, Ohio, worked for a grocery company up there called Kroger out of college. Then I transitioned down to North Carolina, which is where Easy Claw is at and where we currently live now. Worked with a family business for about 20 years. And then through some mergers and acquisitions, my family ended up selling out of the business. And I guess I was probably 43 years old and right in the middle of my working career, three young, beautiful children, and nothing to do. So, went to work for Amazon for a little while, tried that out, realized that I was 43 years old and what they require from a human being in a warehouse environment, that was not for me. Waking up in the mornings with, hands that were asleep and everything else based on what I was doing during the day. So transitioned out of that and very quickly my wife had a decent car and I was like, well, I don't have to work third shift. I'm just going to, until I finally meet somebody and figure out what I'm going to do with the second half of my life, I'm going to drive Uber. So started driving Uber, picked up a guy and his wife one day early in the morning, probably 7 o'clock, something like that, and they needed to go to the airport. So I picked them up, loaded their stuff, and about halfway to the airport we were talking, and he had asked me what I had done in my past life and kind of told him a little bit. And At this point, I was headed to the wrong airport. I was going to the main Charlotte airport instead of the Concord airport where they were driving out of, but he quickly corrected me. And when he got out of the car, he said, "Call me in 2 weeks. I'll be gone for 2 weeks." And lo and behold, that guy was Tom Getz and his wife, Sandra. And that's how I got to Easy Claw. So, just through lots of prayer and whatever you believe, it kind of just happened. And I found a product that was a need in the industry, a super great guy and family that owned it at that point in time. And that's how I met him. A lot of people don't believe it that it was on an Uber ride and I was just driving him to the airport. But uh, so after I got to Easy Claw, we grew it pretty substantially. It was kind of at a point where it was kind of ready to take off anyways. And we had a point in time where I was like, "Tom, we've got to get some more people in here. I need help in the office for what we were doing." And that's when Kevin and I had reconnected and Kevin came on board. Kev, I think like 20, what was it, 21, 22?
Yes, sir.
So I'll kind of transition it back to you. Kevin Sahoski does sales and everything for Easy Claw. So Kev, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kevin Zowski, originally a Western Pennsylvania boy. Transferred down here to Greater Charlotte with a corporate job that I had in food and beverage, and that was going great. And then I had two children myself and working 70, 80 hours a week. I had transitioned out of that and moved on to a friend from church, had a manufacturing industry, and joined him. Was with him for almost 15 years, and that's where I developed a relationship with Scott and his dad in the business. We had a partnership together doing some projects for some of our customers and grew it from there. Transitioned, downsized from there. Unfortunately, had a little time off, a little heart surgery, and then was taking a break. Scott and I, we had lunch a time or two when I was off, and he said, "I might have an opportunity for you." And eventually came up, met with Tom one day, uh, got an offer the next day, and Tom says, "You'll never have to work for anybody else a day in your life." And then Tom left us. So we miss Tom and Sandra dearly. We get to see them every once in a while. And I came on board with Scott. We've transitioned through some different systems throughout. Uh, as Tom and Sandra had sold us, we are now part of a larger company and growing every day, every year, just trying to do new things and reach out and help more people, whatever it takes to help keep those out in the industry safer with what we have to provide. We're happy to do so.
Heck yeah, that's what's up. So Scott, we're gonna transition it back to you since you're pretty much OG with Easy Claw here. I'm sure you know the backstory to all this. So can you give us how Easy Claw came about? How did Tom come up with this idea?
Yeah, so he was originally he was doing laser. He did lasers, whether it was like laser robotics or whatever, but there's always a lot of lines in those where they're running lines around robotic arms that are shooting the laser down, either doing welding or anything like that. So he had a line management background anyways. He had moved to North Carolina as well, originally from Michigan. And one day I think him and Sandra were just riding down the road and they looked, and Easy Claw actually started under trailer. So we have a system that mounts on the front on the cross members of the truck or on the trailer, and it holds up the brake and electric lines for the sliding tandem axles. So he worked on that. It started in 2009. He says he spent countless hours under a trailer on a milk crate just trying to figure out how he could secure those lines better than typically how they're done is just with a couple springs, and the springs would wear out, but he saw the need. So he worked on that, hired another guy eventually. And then I would say 2019 or so, they transitioned from under the trailer, which had been successful, to the back of the cab. And really, that's where the real problem with the 3-in-1 and air and electric lines and the hydraulic lines that run between the tractor and the trailer. There's a huge problem in the industry. He noticed that huge problem in the industry with managing those lines. So that's when it transitioned. And then the from there, it was time to grow it like we've been growing now.
Yeah. So everyone watching, brought some stuff here on screen so you can see some of Easy Claw's. I really don't. I mean, I guess the perfect word for me, honestly, is contraption. You could say device for everyone, but I like the word contraption. I think this is really great. I first found out about you guys at Mid America Truck Show when we went. Y'all had a booth there last year, had a really great display. But yeah, like I said, everyone, y'all see, look right here, they are showing the one that goes underneath the trailer here that Scott said kind of started it all. And man, Scott, you were never a driver. I heard you talking about your background. But have you ever drove a truck at all or anything like that, like in any
No,
sense?
no, I never have one minute in my life. So, I've driven an RV, a large RV. I've driven, towed boats all over the country, but never been a driver of a tractor trailer.
All right. Well, I was just asking, it's to see if you had the real life experience of what kind of serious headache air supply and electrical lines can be, even coming off the back of the cab, especially underneath the trailer. I personally, I really like the one underneath the trailer the most, the device y'all got there, because I think that is a majority of the time when me as a driver is someone who was a company driver for a large carrier swapping out trailers all the time. I can't tell you how many times I came up to a trailer that the airlines were sagging almost completely to the ground. And there were in some instances that they actually had drug the ground and they had worn holes in them. And then you have to call out roadside and get someone out there, sitting there for hours waiting for them to come and fix a stupid little airline because they wear out. And no one replaces the springs, that come on from the factory. Most people put a bungee on there, and we all know what happens. Some driver sees that bungee and is like, oh, I need an extra bungee, and that thing's gone. So
Yeah, I mean, the system front of the trailer, you can kind of see it there, but you hit the nail on the head. I mean, as you know, if you happen to drive over something and you catch those lines, basically, if those lines get a hole in them, if the wrong line gets a hole in it, either your lights are out or you're locking up all those trailer tires, and all of a sudden you've got, what is it, 8 trailer tires that you need to replace on a trailer because they're flat spotted at that point in time if you didn't catch it right when it happened. Same thing with the back of the cab. I mean, if you got a slow leak in there and you're running down the road, next thing you know, if that air pressure drops, obviously you're going to get some warnings in the cab. But if a lot of times you look back and your tires are dragging the ground, and all of a sudden you've got a road call that has to be made, and that's really where we can save you guys and save all the drivers time and money. I mean, our number one goal is to, one, save the fleet's money on the maintenance, and two, to get these drivers home that are working 8, 10, 12 hours a day, get them home every night to their families. And if we can play one small role and, get that one driver home uh, on time each and every day, that's a win in our hat for sure.
Which is
I'm go ahead, Steve.
no, I was gonna say, which is awesome, right? Because I mean, in this industry, time is money. And any time that you can save a driver from a downtime. Number one, they're spending money for that repair, but number two, the downtime of actually sitting there waiting for somebody to come out and fix it. And these tools are necessary, right? And when great companies like Easy Clock come up with these systems that save time and save money is awesome. It's wonderful. As a carrier, we see the needs for this. And yeah, I mean, great job.
So while we're staying on this point right here is actually where I wanted to take it the next. So, for everyone out there that's watching now, it's going to watch later, that may just look you guys up like, oh yeah, cool, man. It's, little device goes on the back of my truck. I got to spend money on. What do I really need to spend money on this thing for? You kind of touched on it a little bit, Scott, but I know there's some more about, why this simple device is really a must have and has a value and does save time and money with for these drivers and these carriers.
Yeah, I mean, just doing some research, we've done that over the past year, and just looking at what a road call can cost an owner operator or cost a fleet if they do have a problem when they're out on the road. So some of our biggest target markets that we're having a lot of success with are food and beverage, drayage, actually, Steve, just areas where trucks are going and the drivers are asked to back into places that were not created or were not designed or were not engineered to have a 53-foot truck in that location. So think convenience stores, think fast food restaurants, smaller warehouses, docks. So when they go into those places and they jackknife the trucks, then all of a sudden they break a glad hand or something like that. And until, if you know, some drivers may have a spare set of lines or a spare glad hand and they can fix the problem. But if not, I mean, we just the other day out in front of our uh, location in Mooresville, there was a guy that came down. He made a sharp jackknife turn in our cul-de-sac that we're at and popped an airline. He got unloaded at the metal place across the street from us, but he sat there for 4.5 hours. So if you look at that and what they probably paid Loves to come out and change a set of airlines because the driver is just a driver and he's not working on his truck, you're looking at 1,000 to 1,500 bucks if you have a road call. Um, Easy call system on the back of that truck would have fixed that problem because it gives you so much more play. So there's about 7 foot of cable in the Easy Claw line saver. And as long as you run the 15-foot airlines, you can make that jackknife over 90 and you're not going to have a problem because you got that extra 7 foot of play that tensioner gives you. So he wouldn't have had the problem. Ended up costing him 1,500 bucks and 4.5 hours of that driver's time. It's just it really quickly makes it as a no-brainer. And I can tell a little story about that. When I started with Easy Claw in the sales role, when I first started, I would tell people, okay, it's US made, everything's made in Mooresville, North Carolina. They'd say, how much is it to put it on a truck? So standard truck, back of cab mount, it's right under $400 to put it on a truck. And used to be, people would say, oh my gosh, how could I afford to put $400 on the back of my truck? I don't have enough problems. Nowadays, we've been through COVID, we've been through inflation, and guess what? Easy Claw hasn't changed our price one bit, well, not one penny. So I think it's a great, and now when I talk to people, it's 400, a little bit under $400 when I'm talking to these big fleets or these owner operators. People look at me and they're like, that's not too bad thinking about the money that you're going to spend when a set of airlines, air and electric line, like a 3-in-1 set of wrapped air and electric lines, you're looking at between 150 and 200 bucks. Maybe sometimes if they're domestically made, even higher than that for a set of airlines. Now, if I can save you one set of airlines and one problem, you're already making money and your fleet's already making money and you as a driver's already making money.
And I think well, actually before I say what I'm going to say, I'll ask my question, then I'll make my point. So a lot of people they watch us, they catch it on Spotify, so we try to like give folks some kind of vision of what we're talking about here. So the device we've seen, it goes on an assembly on the back of the cab, and it holds the airline. So my question is do you still have to connect your glad hands to the back of the truck once you release them from the trailer, or does Easy Claw, does the system allow it to set up high enough that they can dangle and you not have to worry about them getting caught up and stuff?
Typically, you do put them in like a glad hand holder. There's several different ones out there. We don't offer that, but most of the time the trucks come with them on there. But you do, and when you unhook the trailer, like if you're going to bobtail or something like that, then you would need to put it into those glad hand holders. It's an easy storage place. I have seen some situations recently with some larger fleets where guys come into different yards and they just throw the glad hands over top of the catwalk. Some of them will bungee them down, but 9 times out of 10 they just get thrown there and they drop the trailer and go to pull off another trailer or hook up to another trailer. And then what happens, of course, it gets down in the drive shaft, and next thing you know, that truck's down. They've got to get a replacement truck to make their runs during the day. So it does hold it up quite a bit higher than what you do with a set of springs. About 18 to 24 inches is where we're kind of connecting, but we are also making a recommendation that you use the 15-foot air and electric lines instead of the 12s, just because it'll allow for that full jackknife depending on how long your catwalk is when you have that stretch that Easy Claw can offer.
So funny you talk about it going down the drive shaft. I have my own funny story about that. And this past the question I did is you know, a lot, all actually all drivers do it. Not a lot. All drivers do it. You may not do it every time, but all drivers do it. You drop that trailer, you do exactly what Scott said. You throw them on the catwalk. You know, you go and you park in a little spot that Walmart tells you to park your bobtail in, and you just sit there. And then you wait and you go get your trailer, and the whole time your airlines are just sitting there dangling, sitting on the catwalk. I did that one time, and the spring on the back of my truck so happened to just give way between me driving from dropping my trailer into parking at a Walmart in the bobtail section, and the airlines fell between the frame and got caught underneath the tires, and I ripped the airlines and the pigtail out of the back of the truck. And here's the worst part. Here's the even worse part. So it was so bad that it didn't just rip them out from the glad hands or from the connectors attached truck. It ripped the entire assembly off that connects to the back of the truck along with it. And the reason that mattered to me is because I was a smart truck driver, and I always carried extra airlines and pigtails so I could replace them myself because accidents happen. So that one really sucked. And I don't remember how long I sat there, but it was a really long time before someone came and did that, because they had to come. We had to get someone with the assembly that fit on the back of my Volvo that I had with night refrigerated. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So this is where we pause the show to have a safety conversation with Pedro.
Hey man, I never say I was perfect. That's why I said all drivers do it, man. All drivers do that stuff, man. You know, and I never used the glad hand holders on the back of the cab. I had my own little setup with bungee cords and stuff that, you know, I mean, I just had them wrapped up, and then I had a place on the back of my cab where I could hook them. And I mean, I've literally driven hundreds of miles with those things just hanging on that bungee the way I had it, and they never fell. So, I mean, you know, this is why things like this are important, because, you know, manufacturers put those tools like the glad hand holders and stuff on the trucks, and they put all these other things on the trucks that drivers are supposed to use. It's supposed to prevent little things from happening, but man, you get in a rush or you develop bad habits, and you don't do stuff. And that's when people like Easy Claw have to come up with systems to save you from yourself.
Very well said.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. We even had one of our vendor manufacturers, customer of ours, they made a little trough, make it even easier. All you had to do is put it in it, not affix it. It worked great for them.
Yeah, there you go. And so, speaking about things that people make and that you rig up, let's talk about the manufacturing of the Easy Claw system. So, is this thing, is American made? What type of level products we talking about? We talking steel, aluminum, lifetime warranty, 2-week warranty? Give us the whole rundown, Scott or Kevin.
Yeah, Kev, you want to take that?
Sure. We do the manufacturing right here in Mooresville. Our guys are back there welding every week. We have a neighbor friend that does the powder coating for us, and we have another neighbor that does the laser cutting for us. We do it, bring it all in here then, and assemble it. Our guys are back there setting attention on the tensioners every day just to make sure they're within spec, and building them and getting them out for all of our customers. We do the shipping, receiving, everything right out of here, whether it's a one small 6-pound package or 2 skids worth of stuff, over 1,000 pounds worth, going to some of our customers. Absolutely.
Now that is what we like to hear right there, man. American made, employing Americans, and we're helping the American truck driver right there. You know, that's the
3 A's.
Yeah, no, I had something else, but dude, you know how my brain works. Poof, it's gone, it's done. So I continuing on talking about this manufacturing. So I'm here looking at your guys' as product line again, and you know we've talked about Easy Claw as if it is just one thing, you know, one device we're talking about, a one size kind of fits all. But you guys have got a whole array of things on your website that you offer, different versions of the system, different bracketing, other devices. So we'd like to expand a little bit more into that, so people understand that you guys are more than just a one. Man, my brain is done. One hit wonder. That's what I was going to say. Golly, there we go.
Yeah, I got you. So yes, it is. So all we're trying to do at Easy Claw is offset the weight of the lines with the line saver or the tensioner that we have. So we do have to, obviously, in the trucking industry, you've got 3-in-1 lines. You got some fleets and truck drivers that are running a fourth electrical line. So you got 4-in-1 lines. Those are heavier than the 3-in-1s. And then you got the hydraulic lines as well. So we do have 3 different weighted tensioners, a 25-pounder for the 3-in-1s, a 30 for the 4-in-1s, and then also the 40-pound unit for the hydraulics. Sometimes those hydraulics get so heavy, like with feed tankers, they'll be running 3 lines. One of them will be 2.5-inch hydraulic line, and you can actually mount them back to back. So then you've got 80 pounds of tension. So any of those, you can kind of set them to be how heavy you need them to be. But we do have multiple different. And then the other thing that we make, you probably see in Pedro on that website, a lot of different mounting brackets. So just to make it easy for the customers, all these different manufacturers of trucks, we deal with Freightliner, we deal with the PACCAR guys, we deal with Volvo. All of them have different uh, hole patterns in the back of their trucks. So one thing that we like to do whenever we find out that there's a new hole pattern on the back of the truck that people are using for hanging springs or whatever it may be off the back, then we'll come up with a mounting bracket that'll just screw right into the back of your truck in a hole pattern that's already there. Makes it really easy to install. We're constantly coming up with new brackets. Peterbilt, they a couple of years ago they came out with the 3 windows across the back of their truck, and there was really nowhere to. There was room for a towel bar, which is where the customers normally hold the springs from, but there was no room to mount one of these easy claw brackets. So we came up with an adapter bracket that fit in between one of those windows and bolted with 3 rivet nuts on the back of the cab, and now you can mount them on the back of those PACCARs. So it really just it depends on the make and model. You got to make sure you get the right mounting bracket, and then as long as you get the right weight tensioner. And the reason it's important to get the right weight tensioner is because we don't want to put any extra stress on those glide hands. Obviously, you guys, as drivers, you know that if you put a lot of stress on those glide hands, whether it's doing that jackknife turn or not having enough line length, you can pop those glide hands and then you'll be stuck. So that's why we don't want to put a 40-pound tensioner on on a 25-pound application, because we would be putting more tension on that. So there is a super easy questionnaire that you can go through on our website to kind of get you to the correct kit, that it comes with the mounting bracket. It asks you what the make and model of your truck is, what the application is, and then you can kind of walk through that and get to it. But I would also say, it makes it super easy online if you go there, but we're number one, Kevin, myself, and another guy that works with us, Noah. We're like, we love getting phone calls. We've got a couple other people that answer our phones as well out in Iowa. That's at our parent company, Zips Truck Equipment. So they're answering questions about Easy Claws every day as well. So super easy to get a hold of us. I don't have a problem people having my contact information. It's not like we've got so much going on that we can't answer a customer's phone call to try and fix them up exactly with what they need.
Yeah, and man, thank you for mentioning the tension pound on when you were talking about this, because that's going to be my next question. Was how do y'all come up with the foot pounds for these tensioners? And to make sure, oh, this is enough to be able to hold this airline, or it's too much, or this or that. So completely makes sense, man. And that obviously goes to show the level of research and field testing and stuff that your team is doing out there to make sure that you're preventing what you say you're trying to prevent, which is uncostly repair and downtime issues, and causing yourself an unnecessary headache. And honestly, wouldn't have thought that the pound that you put on the tensioner would be something that would come into play like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we also love, I mentioned coming up with new brackets, but we work quite closely with various truck drivers, with various fleet owners, if they need something. So they see a problem. So I know Kevin mentioned to me earlier today that you had Philip Couch from Couch Trucking in Tennessee on your show recently when you guys were at the Large Cars show.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, he's prototyping a unit for us right now. It's a unit that holds his his hydraulic lines as well as his air and electric lines up. And it's just a prototype that we've put together. He didn't want his drivers to have to get up on the catwalk of the truck. If it's raining or something, it's slippery. So our normal center post mount, if you don't have a hydraulic or a headache rack on your truck, if you've got hydraulics, we don't recommend hanging those hydraulic lines off the back of the truck, but we've got a unit called the center post mount. He wanted it shorter, so it's about 6 feet tall. He wanted a shorter unit, and there was a reason why we couldn't have a shorter unit because of the way the engineering and when that truck turns, how the tensioners work. But through working with him, we've got a pivoting head that's getting ready to, he's testing it out now. We're going through some trial and error on it, and he's got it on his truck. He called me, I think it was yesterday or the day before. He's like, I need another one of these. How quick can you get me another one? I need to put it on another truck. So he believes in the product. He's been using it, and that's how we do things. If we see a problem, don't just walk away from it, but actually figure out what the fix is with it.
Man, that is something you don't see enough of anymore. I'll say period, but I mean, especially in our industry. I can't remember who it was we were talking. Oh, when we talked to Bruce Wilson at Texas Trucking Show, we were talking about how the American trucking industry is stuck in the 1980s when it comes to technology and the way we do things, and so my point is a lot of these companies, they find the solution to the problem, and then that's where they stop. A lot of them don't continue to innovate. They don't think about making it better. They don't think about addressing future concerns with customers, i.e., you talking about the pack car thing you did. Man, new trucks come out all the time. What fits a Volvo model today may not fit it next week or next month, next year, whatever you want to say. And so I think a lot of companies in our industry they put that stuff to the wayside. They're just one-time fix, and then that's it. Just buy our product, give us your money. We'll try to give you some decent service, and that's the end of it. And our industry is something that changes continuously. And I feel that if you're going to be in this sector, whether it be logistics as a whole or especially trucking, you need to have your ears to the ground. You need to be out there talking to the drivers, to the people that are out there, and seeing what problems they're dealing with now that they weren't dealing with 2 years ago or 20 years ago, and find a way to help them and make their life easier, because that's going to give you obviously more customers, but it's going to build your loyalty and show people that you're out there really trying to solve the problem on a continuing basis and not just take drivers' money, which you already made a point of, dude. $400 for the basic deal. That's a freaking steal, man.
Yeah, and to take, in the trucking industry, there's so many people that will try to come up with their own ideas to fix stuff, right? Because again, time is money. So for the fact that you guys will listen to people, listen to what their issues are, and then try to manufacture and prototype something, for them is pretty awesome, right? I mean, there is so many things in this industry that can help. So that's really neat. That's really neat to hear. And back to the whole made in America. I mean, you guys are right here, built, employed right here in America, so to be able to put something like that together really quick and not have to wait, as much as I love drayage, but not to have to wait for it to get put on a ship, put on a container, and we might see it in, however long. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're lean too. I mean, that particular unit that I was talking about with the pivoting head, I mean, we talked about that at Mid America Truck Show. So how long ago was that? 4 months ago, 3 months ago?
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
got through
March.
the engineering, and now it's on a truck getting prototyped, and hopefully by the end of this year we'll have it to where people can start using it.
Man, and oh, I love that. He said, forget this whole 2 year, R&D thing where we got to hire a bunch of people that know nothing to try to find out something and end up coming with half of a thing.
Yeah, but the truck driver is the guy that knows exactly what the problem is. I mean, that's why, he came up to me at the Mid America Truck Show, and he was talking to me, and the next day he came up to me, he said, "Hey man, I don't know you from Adam. I'm just telling you my problems. I just want to hear it." He's like, "I might have rubbed you the wrong way." And I'm like, "Absolutely not. You're the guy that uses this every day. How can how could I not? How could you rub me the wrong way? None of us are perfect. And you know, if there's a problem, let's figure out how to fix it. It's it's what's going to keep things growing.
That's
So,
right. And Scott was reflecting on the quiz that we have online. So it doesn't fit 100% of the situations out there. So the alternative is send us a photo of your setup. Let's see what it is. Let's help the problem solve and fix that for you. That's how we've done a lot through the years with our customers.
and and there's so many different, obviously, so many different setups when it comes to your trucks. You run a pneumatic, or you run a dray, or reefer carriers. Everyone's got a different setup depending on trailer stuff. But also, drivers are the biggest critics. And
I was just going to say that.
dude,
Yeah.
they, every driver has their own system, the way that they do things. You know what I mean? Including what they do with their air supply and their electrical supply lines when they connect, disconnect, whatever. And so, bring it back again. A lot of companies are not listening to those things. They're trying to solve a problem as a whole and not on an individual basis, and make sure that they're covering each need that is presented to them as a company. And because companies like you guys, that's what Easy Claw is in business for, to solve a problem. You know what I mean? Problems happen every day. It's always new. I just said this not too long ago. And you guys using the driver force and the driver being able to get with y'all and say, hey, send a picture in. Here's my setup. This is what I think I need. What can you guys help me do? I don't think we've had anyone else on the show that is in the manufacturing space that is at the level of doing that, and saying, wait, we may not have the product that you need right now, but let us know what you need, and we're going to find a way to get that to you, because we want to service you, our customer, and take care of you, the driver, make your day and your life overall easier, and let's get back to the an even bigger point here: save yourself freaking money,
Saving time and money. Absolutely.
Yep.
And depending on what type of carrier you are, right? If you're a drive-in and you're hooked onto that same trailer, right? Your need may not be as demanding, right? And depending on the situation in the customers you're driving. But if you're a power only carrier, or you're a carrier that drayage is a big one, right? And I would love to bring you on the show over there as well, because you got different, a 20-foot chassis versus a 40-foot chassis. There's a totally different configuration on where you need your line, right? There's different distance, right? The Easy Claw comes in, right? If you're in a track, so it's totally different. So, depending on the type of carrier you are, this product can really be instrumental in saving. Because, like I said, it's different when you're connected to the same trailer every single day versus, you might do drive-in one day, you might do flatbed, the next day you might dabble in drayage. So, awesome tool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And if you're going,
go ahead.
If you're a long haul guy and you're going, straight across Interstate 70 every week and not making any turns, and you got to back in at one end of the country and maybe a couple truck stops along the way, and then on the other end of the country, obviously your springs are going to hold up a lot longer than, like I said, those target markets that we really help with. And it may take you a little bit longer to pay for your Easy Claw, but I guarantee you, at some point in time, if you're not watching those springs or you're not watching that pogo stick, you're going to get into a situation where we could have helped you.
Well, I ran, before I started Cleve's Logistics, I worked for PepsiCo for 25 years, and I ran the operations in a lot of different buildings. And you think about beverage food service trucks that are going behind grocery stores, that are pulling into some of these shopping complexes. You think about, Cisco, McLean's, and all those type companies that are getting behind these buildings, that are making extremely tight turns, that are swinging around in gas stations and convenience stores. Yeah, a little bit different operation than if you're a long haul or over the road driver running up and down the highway, only making a few turns, or a few tight turns, that is.
Yep.
Man, when I was at McLean and PFG, we had so many people snap lines, and they got to the point that they started putting extra airlines on the truck and made sure that drivers knew how to use a wrench so they could understand how to replace them. But it's exactly what you said, Steve, that local P&D, man. You're putting 75 feet of truck where, pickup trucks have a problem pulling.
Where a van should be.
Dude, I am telling you, I have pulled backed in and parked in so many places where my trailer is the only thing sitting in the parking lot. You know what I mean? My cab is out the road, and I've got cones around that thing, man. So it's ridiculous how much of an issue that this is and how a simple device can solve it. Now, what I want to do is I want to round it out, and I want to talk about what's next. Where are you guys looking to go in the future? And I specifically asked because you had said you guys, got bought out or partnered with someone larger. Usually means bigger things are coming. We're looking more to the future. We're going to grow. So let's talk about that. What can we look forward to from Easy Claw coming up?
So yeah, in let's see, November of 23, we were 23, 22, Kev.
22.
22, November 22. So Tom was ready to retire. His wife was ready for him to retire, kind of to circle back to him. He told Kevin and I, "Oh, I'm never selling this." Whatever. Sandra says, "Tom, we need to spend some more time with our grandkids." So we actually met the guys from Zips Truck Equipment, David and Paul, the owners. They were in front of us at a booth at the match show. I think it was in 21, or yeah, it might have been in early 22 when we met them at the match show. But so they're a big tow truck manufacturer. So they're an assembler of tow trucks, heavy duty tow trucks, flatbeds, car carriers. And they want to get more into the heavy duty truck parts because they've got a very large accessory business for the tow trucks, but the towing industry is only so big. They saw the how big the trucking industry was, and they'd like to get more into that over time. So that's one of the reasons that they purchased us. Our product, it is patented, so we've got, I think, 5 or 6 patents now on this product, and they saw it as just a way to get into the trucking industry, which they already had their foot in because they buy all kinds of heavy duty trucks for building tow trucks. So definitely in a growth mode. All those guys you were just talking about, both of you, McLean's, the Pepsis, all these guys, they're all looking at Easy Claw or piloting Easy Claws at this point in time, or already use Easy Claw. So we're at the tip of the iceberg on where growth's going to be. And right now we're putting out about 1,000 to 1,200 of these a month. I see that doubling over the next couple years as some of these more larger fleets get involved with it. And where we really see the growth from is when these large fleets are buying new trucks and when they start speccing them on their new trucks. So we do have specs for all the major manufacturers, Daimler, Volvo, International. So those are our customers that we're sending new Easy Claws to for truck builds for all those customers you were talking about. So we have a great group of customers, in touch with all of them, and just we still go to these smaller truck shows or the hometown truck shows where we get to see the really cool trucks, like large cars. We try and do as many of those as we can, and just to get out, so we're taking care of those owner operators and those drivers as well. A lot of the drivers that are working for those larger fleets come to those shows, bring their families to those shows. And so that's where I see the growth, is just obviously through the larger fleets, getting more and more of these on the road. And then it just grows organically because, if you see a Pepsi truck or a Coke truck or a US Foods truck running down the highway with an Easy Claw and you're a driver, you're going to pay attention to it and you're going to say, what the heck is that? And that's really how our growth has really happened over the last 6 years.
Well, I've only been paying attention to you guys for about 2 years now. I first heard of y'all because of Tony Justice. So I've been following y'all, since we knew who Tony was. But I've seen the growth with you guys just over this time, and the amount of shows y'all going to, the different partnerships and stuff that y'all are doing with different shows and different companies, getting people like Tony and Bennett and all these folks like that. So it's really good to see companies on the growth in this industry, especially in a time when you hear about so many companies that are closing down, that are suffering in an industry that which is it's weird because this industry grows every single year. I mean, I think I read an article not too long ago that logistics globally is set to possibly hit $10 trillion worth of revenue. So that's crazy, and America accounts for at least 1.5 trillion of that. So there's endless opportunity here, and so it's really good to see that someone's able to capitalize on it and be able to market themselves and solve a problem and do it well enough that you're able to grow and people are seeing what you have to offer and they're getting behind you. Because I see it a lot. I didn't know Philip had your thing. The only truck I saw Phillips though is New Testament that he had at what's called, and he's got his fancy connections within his chassis there, because he has to be pretty. No, it looks amazing, Philip. Don't hurt me. Philip's my twin brother. Y'all didn't know that, man. We were long lost. We never knew each other existed until we met at Large Cars and Guitars.
That's good. I can see the resemblance.
I didn't see it. Hunter said it, man. Hunter's like, dude, that guy could be your brother.
It was a great interview.
I appreciate it, man. I personally, I think I suck at him. Hunter does an amazing job in interviews. Dude, on these shows, I'm great. I have no camera shy, dude. I've been on other people's stuff, Sirius XM, doesn't bother me at all. But for some reason, when I am standing there with a mic in my hand talking to someone in person, I am a deer in the headlights. So, before we get to talking about me and we shoot the shit for a little bit before we end the show, kind of like it's the last inquiry that I have, and I mean it may be an obvious answer, but I am sure that somewhere along the line, Tom or maybe even you, Scott, or Kevin, or someone has reached out to the likes of Pete and KW, Western Star, all these people, and be like, "Hey, guy, I've got something that would really be beneficial for everyone. Let's make this happen." What do you think is stopping them from adding these devices onto their truck from the factory? I mean, do you have an answer to that, or at least give us what you think your opinions might be? Because this just to me seems like a no freaking brainer right here.
Yeah. Very early on, and when I was with Easy Claw, we did have. So for one, all of those manufacturers do put Easy Claws on some of them online. They're some of our largest customers, but some of them, the trucks have to go through an upfit center like the CTS or the PDI or Road Ready for Kenworth and Peterbilt, to get put on after that. So so at one point, Volvo came to us and they said, "What if we put one of these on every Volvo that rolled off the lot?" And I thought it was pie. I thought it was pie in the sky, but they saw something, right? Like they knew we were onto something. That didn't end up happening, but that's our goal, and that's what we work for every day. I mean, I've got a meeting tomorrow to speak with the folks at the CTS at Daimler, because currently when you buy an Easy Claw from Daimler, they set up the truck and give you 2 sets of springs. So you don't even need this 2 sets of springs, but it's a spec. So again, kind of back to what we were talking, people set in their ways. It's more work to make things a little bit better each and every day. They've got things like emissions and motors and everything else that they're more important things than the air and electric lines. And I totally get it and I totally understand it. But until that customer, like the Pepsi or like someone else, comes to them and says, "Hey, we want this on the back of our truck," that's when they start jumping, because they want to sell those trucks and they know the other guy will do it if they don't do it. So we are always, we can be best friends with the people at the OEMs, these big, massive corporations that are building these beautiful trucks. But until that customer says, "No, we want this on our trucks," that's when we get them to jump. And that's what we have to wait and just continue to build those relationships with the fleets and with the drivers.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Kevin, do you want to say anything differently?
No, absolutely. It's been baby steps to get there, and a little bit of pushback along the way, and it's just fostering those relationships. And like Scott said, we were told that if you really, really want to get it in, get the big fleets to come to us and request it to move the needle on it. So it's important to get those relationships and let them speak on behalf of everybody.
Yeah, let your customers be your voice. Your customers can be
Absolutely.
your best salespeople.
You know, when it comes down to the cost of it, we've even got a customer that had said $400. You know, that's nothing, because if I have to turn a truck back in off lease, that, you know, it pays for the paint job that I don't have to pay for anymore, because they were paying $400 to get a paint job on the back of their truck by using the spring hangers off the towel bar and the hoses hitting against the back of the truck. And ours holds it off the back of the truck about 10 inches out and keeps it safer and keeps it from hitting.
You want to hear my thought on why they don't do it, Scott and Kevin? Got it.
Go ahead.
Put your tinfoil hat on real quick.
Yeah.
We're gonna go deep in the conspiracy here. This is all satire. For anyone listening, I just want to say this is satirical. Please do not take this seriously. We're just trying to have a good time at this point. I personally think that they're all in cahoots with the airline manufacturers.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. I think it's the only explanation is because like, the airline manufacturers are giving all the truck manufacturers kickbacks. Like, why put on Easy Claw that's going to save you money when you can put on this stupid device that's going to break, and then you can send all these drivers to us and we can sell them ridiculously expensive airlines and high-priced roadside service fees. That's just my thought. I mean, it could be wrong.
The paint shop.
And the paint shop.
Yeah, I mean, we can go on and on.
And the paint shop.
They're in cahoots with the DOT so that they can get out of services and fines. And
Yeah. I'm at the point in my life that's what I think about everything. When I see something that makes sense for anything, and like a manufacturer or a company that could just simply add this to their product line instead of making the consumer buy it separately, I'm always like, what? Why are you not adding this? Like, it has to. You've got to be in cahoots with like the repair service or whatever for your thing, because that's the only reason why you would not take this and put it on from the start and just eliminate this headache for everybody. And I love their answer, Scott. I have to give it up to Volvo or Daimler, whoever, because they just sold you and made you try to be their salesman. And here's what I mean by that. They said, Scott, if you want Easy Claw on all of our trucks, go tell all of the mega carriers that buy 500 trucks a year to do it. So they're like, Scott, run to all these people and say, dude, if you go buy a Volvo, they're going to put Easy Claw on it.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Oh, man.
I like to believe that maybe it's not the cahoots, Pedro, but maybe it's just, I mean, people want the easy way out, right?
Oh, yeah. I agree 100%,
Status
bro.
quo.
Yeah.
Status quo. Don't change anything. You know, I mean, I had somebody from a major logistics company tell me that we put Easy Calls on all their yard trucks across the country, over, 2,000 yard trucks across the country for this company. And he was trying to sell it to his truck, the guy that was responsible for the truck fleet. And the guy, he said, we know that there's a problem with the trucks coming off the assembly line. They're not, there is a continuous maintenance problem with the trucks that are coming off the assembly line, but that's what we're going to stick with. And this guy lost his mind. Easy Calls maintenance free. I didn't mention that, and I think that's important to mention. You put it on your truck, it's going to be on your truck today. It's going to be on your truck in a year, and it should be on your truck in 5 years. We've got them out there that have been out there 10 years. You don't have to grease it. You don't have to do anything with it. Not to get back to business, but I think that's an important thing, and drivers need to know that.
Dude, that's a very good point. And let's hear about the warranty. No, we're all about business here. We can joke and business at the same time. What's up with the warranty, Kevin? Go ahead.
We do have a warranty on it, 2 years for factory defects due to manufacturing issues, and we'll stand behind it. We can't fix every error that happens with the tensioners because of.
So, you see, everything that Easy Claw does is above and beyond. The warranty is another example. What does everybody do? 1 year, wah, wah, wah. Easy 2 years. 2 years, people. That's how confident we're in it. You can do whatever you want. 2 years. We're going to make sure that it works, and it's still going to be your 10 years. Man, see, I like that. That's American ingenuity, though. Americans, I feel we work harder than everyone in this country. Now, and I'm not saying it is a color thing or anything, or I'm saying just American people in this country who live here, who work here, develop products, who take care and make things happen. We do things differently. We're serious about business, and we stand behind everything we do. And I think that's why American-made, American companies are the most important thing. And, you know, we really need to be standing behind that a lot more. And I'll say that and kind of bring it back to the point that you were talking about, Scott. 100%. I don't think it's no cahoots thing. Again, totally just being funny.
No, I know.
I think it is more. I think it's exactly what you said, and I'll use an example that something I just learned recently. I'm a huge car guy. I've been into cars since I can remember, and I learned something recently I didn't know, and I'm sure it applies to the truck manufacturing industry as well. So I went to go change my headlight not too long ago. And to change my headlight, I had to jack up my car and remove my freaking tire to change a headlight bulb. And I made a post just being funny. I was like, I am convinced that automotive engineers are not car guys, because no car guy would do this to another freaking car guy. And a guy just saw the post and he commented on there, says, hey man, I've been in the automotive manufacturing industry for decades. He's like, little secret. He's like, cars nowadays are not designed to be, or they're not designed to worry about you or the mechanic working on them. They're designed for the assembly line. So everything we do, and when we design this as engineers, we take into account, how can we make this work and get down the assembly line faster so we can pump out more products? And so, I mean, let's be realistic. Easy Claw is probably one of those same things. You know what I mean? How are we going to have to program a robot to be able to install this on the back of every single cab and do all this stuff when we've already got, you know, some guy we're paying $25 an hour that just goes up there and clicks a little worthless spring on the back of the towel bar. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you, Scott. You know, it's probably more, hey, let's do the easy thing than the thing that makes it more complicated. And, you know, so we, as well as a truck manufacturer, can push out more models and do stuff. But the fact, you know, that they do work with y'all says a lot and shows that they see the value and the need for what you guys do. Because, you know, let's admit it. They could easily say, yeah, bug off. We're not going to give you anything that you need to help put something on a truck that we make. A lot of manufacturers do that stuff. They do not want aftermarket parts being put on their stuff, and they purposely design things so you cannot do that. So, I mean, at least it goes to show, you know, with them kind of working with you guys and helping you at least a little bit, saying, hey, we will do this for you if we need to, you know, that at least does go a long way.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, and they need, you know, anything like that. It comes down to, they need enough people asking for it, or to Scott's point earlier, they need their competition, their competitor, to start having it to where they have to compete with that.
And Scott, you know, you brought up yard trucks. I didn't even think about this being on yard trucks. So something that I don't talk about a lot is one of my first jobs was I ran a 30-person yard dog crew at a big Home Depot DC in North Texas. Wow. And dude, that was we went through more supply airlines, pigtails, headlight bulbs, tail lights. Like, I don't know what it is about yard dog operations, but those vehicles are used and abused like nobody's business. And we literally had a trailer on site that was a parts trailer, and we used to buy all our stuff from, I think it's Fleet Pride, I think is what it was called or whatever. But they literally would bring a semi trailer of their own and back it up to our semi trailer. And I used to get a pallet at a time of airlines, a pallet. You guys ship stuff, so you know how many airlines fit in a box and how many boxes fit on that freaking pallet. And I used to get one shipment of those a month because those yard trucks, you've seen them, man. There's nothing on those, no springs, nothing. The glad hands are connected to where the air supply is, and then they're completely free swinging. And what's the average length, Scott? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's what, 10 foot is what the supply lines are?
Yeah, 12 foot on those coiled lines that you're talking about.
Yeah, so 12 foot of line you have hanging off the back of those things. It was a nightmare, man. And we constantly going through those things and getting them ripped off. Fleet Pride made so much money off of us. They made so much money off of us. I swear they probably had a standing order of those airlines, because every time they came, we got a pallet of airlines, and I went through it, dude. Well, we had we had 30 people just on my shift, and then we had another 30 on the day shift, and I think we had a combined like 42 trucks and then 3 semi trucks that we used to shuttle stuff off lot. So we went through a lot of parts, man.
Yeah. Well, and those things, you got different drivers every shift, and the drivers mess around with where they're connected and how they're connected. So, and then the guy that comes in, he thinks the truck's set up the same way it was the night before, and boom, you got the problem.
Dude, the fix that everyone did, which I personally didn't like it, but I have to admit that it worked. So what they did is they ran a bungee cord between the smokestack and the catch railing for the stairs on the opposite side of it, and that's what they threw the airlines and everything over. And that's the only purpose of that bungee cord service. So just when he stepped out, the air, everything was right there at, like, arm height, head height, or whatever. You could just step out, pick it up, hook it up, and then go back in the thing. But
Yep.
I was saying earlier, man, it's just a bungee cord. You ride around, and those yard trucks, even though you're just on the yard, they have no suspension. I think they are all like leaf spring. I don't think they have airbags on them at all, man. And so those airlines, all the time, they would fall off those bungee cord, or the bungee cord. It's rubber, man, and it's stretched out. I mean, those things would dry rot all the time and eventually fall off. And so I went through tons of airlines. I didn't think about the yard dog, dude. Man,
Yeah.
that.
I mean, there's all kind of our customers are certainly ingenious as well. I mean, we've got them for dock doors now. We've got several customers that are putting them on dock doors now.
What do you do with
So
dock
if it-
doors?
So reefer applications or refrigerated trailers, if they've got their trucks or the trailers at the dock, there's a product called Safe Connect that it's a shore power disconnect system. So they plug the reefer trailers in so they don't have to run the trucks to keep the reefers going. Well, when they drive off, they would drive off without unhooking them. So this Safe Connect device, it unplugs automatically when there's tension put on the line. So then they were driving off and the lines were laying on the ground, and those lines are not cheap, just like air and electric lines, not cheap to replace when the next trailer backed in and ran over the end and broke it. So now we're hanging easy claws on the side of each dock door to suspend those. So now when the truck drives away, the line gets pulled out, and now it's being suspended. So, just people see different things, and I've got one on my bush hog at my farm. I've got one on the front end of the bush hog, the little clamp, or I've got an
Yep.
easy claw on it because there was a hydraulic line on it that kept on. I had a bungee cord on it. The bungee kept breaking, and put an easy claw on it. It'll work on that too. So there's countless reasons. I mean, we're 100% focused on the trucking industry, but there's so many other uses for this product that,
I already got the next idea.
give it to me.
I've already got it. You need the Easy Claw CB retractor. It's already they already make them. They already make them, but you
Yeah.
guys need to make one. That right there, and you have to make it look just like the Easy Claw for the back of the truck, dude. That's what you got to do right there. I expect my royalty check in the mail. I will send you a PO box now. I'm serious, dude. That would be a cooler thing, man. A great little gag gift, man. Pass those things out at the truck stop, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, right there in front of the driver every single day, man. And I use them. I don't know, people. I don't know, dude. Do they even make CBs anymore? Do you think?
I'm sure there's people that use them. There's a lot of old school truckers out here that still use them. So
The new guys, they only turn it on when there's a traffic jam so they can figure out what's going on.
I love the CB. It was one of my favorite things. Driving, bro. I would turn my music down just to CB the stuff that people talk about on that damn thing, dude. It is, boy, you could do everything from learn nuclear physics to get down to who killed JFK. The conversation is always invigorating. I can promise you that.
yeah.
Kevin, give us something here, Kevin. You let Scott do all the talking, man.
Well, he's great at it, man. So one of the biggest thing is getting the word out. And that's why we go to these little regional shows and we go to the larger shows. to talk to the mom and pops, the owner operators. We also get out there to the big shows to talk to the executives and just trying to get our not foot in the door because it needs no selling of itself. Uh, it's a product that literally can prove to you that it does work. But the biggest thing is getting the awareness out there and going to these shows, letting it be seen by the people that can make the decisions or the users of it, the drivers. The drivers sometimes will go back and tell the maintenance people that, hey, we need to take a look at this, and then it filters upstream, and then we can make the connection. We have to give hats off to our marketing department also back at Zips. They do a fantastic job with our social media and putting out email blasts and on all LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. The posts that they do is just so creative and awesome for all of us. A lot of support staff there for getting the word out about the Easy Clause.
You guys do a very good job about showing up. I will say that. I mean, almost every show that we go to, you guys are there, have some type of presence, and I think that's another thing that a lot of companies in this industry that manufacture products for the trucking sector, they miss out on. They miss going to these shows, and then when they do it, I think that they focus on the wrong shows. And what I mean by that is they go for the big convention type stuff, no hate here being thrown, because absolutely love Mid-America Truck Show. They're the most amazing people ever. But things like that, the truck shows that also have that, high vendor presence to it. Versus, the stuff like large cars and guitars, where, all about the trucks have a vendor presence, but smaller vendor presence, and it's more of the connection that's being made there between you, the company, and the individual driver. These larger shows, I mean, let's be honest. Well, it's fantastic that 50,000 people come to this, but how the hell am I going to talk to 50,000 people? You know what I mean? There's no way it's going to happen. It's just not, and so you have to sit there and you have to think about, where is my buying dynamic at, my demographic, where are these people that I want to sell my product to and put my product in their face? What are the shows that I think that they're going to go to, that they're going to attend? And you guys are always there at those smaller mom and pop shows. I think those do not get the love and recognition that they deserve from a lot of services in this industry and manufacturers for products for the trucks. And, for the fact that you guys have seen that for quite some time and have been there, out there, and you don't just show up there. I want to make that point. Large cars, guitars, Matt's and large cars, guitars. So that's the only time I got to see you guys. Hunter's hung out with y'all a lot, but both times y'all weren't just sitting there at your booth. You, Scott and Kevin, you guys were walking around. You were talking to people. You were introducing yourself. You were interacting. And me personally, Scott, Kevin, when we were hanging out in Brandon's trailer, I didn't one time hear you sales pitch anyone. People say, hey, who are you? What do you do? And you just talked about what you did. And I think that also goes a long way, with a lot of these drivers and stuff. They don't like being pitch slapped. They just want to know, what can you do for me? Why should I buy this? How does it provide value? Will it save money to me? And that's really the simplicity of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's very quickly, they become part of the family, right? And when I think it was the first large cars and guitars show we went to, I met Hunter there. I met Steven there that we talked about, and, accepted with open arms. These people didn't know who we were from Adam. And, they didn't know what Easy Claw was. And they just pick you up. And, now we're spending weekends with them. We're away from our family. We can treat it like a job, but hey, it's a lot of fun if you make it fun. It's just what life is. It's just, how can you make life fun? And you got to make money. You got to figure out how to make money. But if we can do it and hang out with people and hang out with good people, to say the most, is an awesome community, trucking industry.
Absolutely.
I'm with you, man. And Scott, what do you think someone's going to remember more? Are they going to remember walking by, your little vendor booth in your stand and talking to you for 5 minutes and you handed them a pamphlet, or are they going to remember when they saw you, 30 minutes later out in the crowd, just talking to people, and you just strike up another complete conversation and
Yep.
you tell them what you do and they're like, oh, okay, now I remember you. You know what I'm saying? And so it's those authentic connections that make a difference, period. But especially when it comes to the trucking industry, drivers, they're a hard sell, man. They really are. And I don't think that a lot of companies understand that and address it properly. They just think, oh, well, there's millions of them, so if we just catch a very small portion of this market, that's really all that matters. And it's like, dude, you don't even understand. Every portion of that market is a hard sell. Those guys and girls, they scrape and claw for the money that they make, and they work hard on it. And they sure as hell ain't going to throw it away on something that they don't deem is going to, again, add value and save time within their day and possibly make their life easier. And so the fact that you guys are out there doing that stuff, man, it really does. That's why people notice you, and it makes a difference, man, in the way people see your product and why they support y'all and why they buy from you.
Well, to your point, Pedro, right, in the larger shows, you might have 30 seconds to sell them before that person walks away, because the shows are so big, right? And something like a MATS, right? You get something like large cars and guitars, you have real good conversations. You have there's you really get into the nuts and bolts of a conversation when you have more authentic time to talk to people, and you might see more drivers there that are now going to hear that story a lot more, and then be able to take it back to their companies or their owners or whatever, and help sell that for you. So I love the smaller shows. I mean, not to say the large cars and guitars are small by any means, but I mean, it's to me that was I had more fun at that one, right? Being able to sit there and have authentic conversations with people that we walk by and talk to, versus running by the 9,000 booths that everybody, like you said, is trying to hand you a pamphlet and get your 30 seconds to sell you something. I mean, that was like us in front of our booth, right? I mean, I was the sticker king. We just sat there and people came by and I was just throwing stickers at them, handing stickers, just trying to engage in a conversation with them. And so it's the smaller shows. There's definitely something to be said about those.
Yep.
Yeah, you're hanging out with the Tony and Misty Justice, the Van Browns of Bull Snot. You've got Redneck Trucker, of course, the Bennett family. But the thing is, what they do with the regional ones, they're giving so much to charity and giving back to the regional charities that they have. Susan G. Komen, national, and the local charities. It's important, even what Bottomley does up there. It's important to have those relationships and be able to contribute.
And I'm definitely with you on that. And those regional shows do a very good job about that. Supporting everything local. I mean, we were in Bristol, man. Like, I don't know how far off you guys are, but the entire damn area was just about the show. You know what I mean? Like, everything was there. Large cars, guitars, discount. Come hang out here for large cars and guitar. Like, we went to the beer store down the street, and the first thing that guy asked us was, "Are y'all here for the truck show?" Like, yeah, man, we're here for the truck show. So I agree. The regional ones do a lot. And you talk about Van and Steven. There's some good folks right there, man. That Van, absolutely. That guy, I'm telling you, he is a jewel within this industry, and I honestly can see why you guys are connected with him and friends with him, because he has the same outlook as you guys do. He's all about connecting with the people that he wants to sell his products to. Just like you guys, everything that guy sell is developed by his customers. Everything. His customer come to him and say, "I have this problem. This is what I need. Can you help me with it?" And Van goes, "Yeah, sure. Let me go into my redneck chem lab back here and my hillbilly chem set and develop this for it." And that's not trying to compare apples to oranges or anything like that, but that's what makes him so successful, and it's obviously what's making you guys the same way. But the thing is, again, you're out there touching bases, man. You're talking to these people and getting their feedback, and again, something that misses. How can actually, I just made a LinkedIn post. It's actually scheduled for tomorrow, and it goes perfectly with this. Everyone in this industry, in our industry, when you call a sales prospect, all you do is you tell them what you think they want to hear. I can save you time. I can save you money. I can help your operations. Blah, 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 blah. You're talking at them. You're not talking with them. You're, and I think that's a big disconnect is that folks here, they don't listen. They don't care. They just tell you what you should be buying and what you need to hear, and they don't listen and give the feedback and adjust their approach and their product to that stuff. So there you go.
That's your next That's your next podcast, Pedro. Sales 101.
Yeah,
not for me.
80-20.
Not for
Listen,
me.
80% of the time, talk 20. You can get a
I am
whole lot
the worst. I am the worst salesperson ever. I swear. I'm for real. I can tell you what my sales call is right now. It is no sales at all. Zero. I do not try to sell. I don't tell people what I'm going to do for them. Nothing. I simply say, this is who I am. This is what I do. I would love to talk to you for a few minutes, learn more about what you got going on. Maybe, just maybe, I can help you. I'm not trying to press you with shit, man. I don't sell people. No, let's be honest, guys. Nobody likes being sold to. Nobody. Nobody does. And you sure as hell don't like being sold to when you're at work. You know what I mean? So if I'm calling you at work, dude, half the time I will call and just say random stuff to people and they answer the phone. I started doing this. I was like, you're live on the air with the Beat 103.5. What do you have to say, caller? I did that to a lady the other day, and she said, I think you have the wrong number. But that's what it is, man. You gotta shake things up. You gotta make things fun, dude. That's how you make wins and stuff and everything that you do. So we hit the hour and a half mark here.
Yeah, man.
Guys, I want y'all to hang around after we end the show. We're gonna start winding it down. So to get on that track to start ending things, I want to ask we'll start with you, Kevin, since you have said less during this show. Kevin even told me, Scott, he's like, man, I'm gonna have to make Scott shut up. I'm gonna have to do all the talking like that. And here he didn't do anything. He just sat there and let you do all the talking, even after he told me he wasn't going to. Yeah. Kevin, any exiting comments, questions, concerns, updates? Do you want to give yourself some plugs?
Sure. Let's get to that. Talk slower here.
Paul said you're the man, Kevin.
Oh, yeah. I like Paul and his lovely wife.
I'm going to get in trouble now. I'm going to get in trouble, Paul. Next time Paul sees me, he's going to hurt me. All right, Kevin. Exiting comments, questions, concerns, updates, plugs.
Easy Cloud. We're here to help you. If you've got a problem, we have a solution most likely for you. Reach out to us. We'll try to help you. Whatever it takes. Our R&D, like Scott said, with the dock doors, we have worked with the different tensioner levels to be able to make that application work. Noah has worked back there to work on the different lengths of the cables, the different tensions to make that system work. And that's something that's off the beaten path. The under trailer, like how it all began with Tom. It's how it all began, but the back of the trailer is where it's really taken off. And we can help you with your day cabs that have 1 cabinet, 3 cabinets, 5 cabinets, any of the above. Headache racks as well. You've got 1, 2 hydraulics, 3 hydraulics. Sometimes we put even the brackets off the front of the trailers to help. That wants to keep the hydraulic lines with the trailer or the tanker instead of with the truck. So we're here to help. Whatever it takes, we'll try to help you out. So just get a hold of us. You know how. Different ways. EasyCloud.com, our phone number. Scott's been amazing through the years of helping Tom develop it and have it take off. And I just come in to support him and take care of our customers however we can.
That's it right there. Mic drop. Show over. Hitting off. We're done. No. Scott.
Cheers.
Scott.
Budma.
Yeah. Scott, what about you, my friend? Exiting comments, questions, concerns, updates. Give yourself an Easy Claw some plugs, maybe.
Yeah, no, man. I'm just putting off leg day, so my neighbor's probably waiting for me, ready to hit the legs. So I don't know. Thank you guys so much for having us on.
Absolutely.
I think it's been a great thing. Steve would love to get on with you at some point in time, and Miss Hunter, but give him my best, Pedro. I'll have to give him a hard time.
I will, man. He, like I said, he's at Trucker Jamboree. He actually called me right as soon as we started the show, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's right, you have a show." I'm like, golly, dude, like, you forget about your own stuff, man. So, but I will make sure to give him hell. He actually asked me if any of y'all were going to be out there, and I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Maybe they're going to do the show live from a hotel in Walcott, Iowa. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I wish we were. We're starting to sell some stuff through them on iowa80.com, but I can't get it in their store yet. We're working on them though.
Yeah, man, I would have bet they're probably pretty hard. So, do you imagine how many people come at them every day trying to
Woo-wee. Yeah, but great people out there, so I'm sure he'll have a good time.
They are, man. We had Lee Meyer when she's the granddaughter of the founder of the Iowa 80. We had her on the show last week, man, and they're awesome. We're gonna try to get her dad, Dave, on the show. He is the curator for the museum that they have there. So we're gonna try to get Dave on the show. And funny enough, we're thinking about trying to get like Philip Couch on here, maybe Brandon, because he's into the old trucks. So I was like, man, how cool would it be to get an antique truck guy on here with a bunch of new truck builders, would just talk about truck making, man. You know what I'm saying? And how things have changed over the last 120 years. So yeah, they're absolutely phenomenal people, man. Yeah, they sure are.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. I hate to run, but really appreciate everything you've done, and look forward to seeing you guys again at a truck show soon.
Absolutely. And I'll be in touch. Hunter and I will be in touch, because I definitely think getting you guys in front of the drayage industry is a must. So we'll be in touch and get you guys scheduled to come on.
Sounds good. We need to get some easy claws on those trucks of yours.
I was just gonna. That was when Pedro got to me. I know my business partner Clint is listening in, so he kind of handles the operations now of the Cleve side. So we'll be having a conversation to get those on there, because it's been on my list actually since Redneck originally showed them to us back on a video about a year ago now. So, and when Kevin mentioned the paint job, one of our trucks, actually the paint's wearing off from those springs in the back. So yeah, we'll be in touch.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
All right, Scott, go enjoy leg day, man. I'll hit you up later on.
All right, sounds good.
Later, broski. Kevin, you hang around with us for a minute, okay? You can do that, right? Or do you need to go?
I'm good.
All right, sweet. All right, so Mr. Dirty Dre, Steve Talamo, what about you, sir? Any exiting comments, questions, concerns, updates, or plugs?
I appreciate Kevin and Scott from coming on. Definitely a product that I've been keeping my eye on, and definitely like watching you guys and talking to you guys at the shows. As far as plugs, I just wanted to again throw out truckingnewshub.com. We are in the search. If you actually check out truckingnewshub.com, we have a trucker stories, and we also have truck picks. So we are looking for bloggers, maybe photographers that go around to these truck shows that want to share. You can get on Instagram, you can get on TikTok, you can see where people post pictures. We're designed to have the pictures, but also tell the stories behind the pictures. So truck picks, trucker stories. We have the Bobby McGee with Hard Shell Life. She has a blog called Mile Marker that we share on trucker stories on truckingnewshub.com. But definitely looking for bloggers and photographers to be able to join the squad over there at truckingnewshub.com and share your pictures and share your stories. So that is my shameless plug on Trucking News Hub, Pedro.
There was nothing shameless about that at all, bro. Nice try. No, 100% that behind it, man. I love to see how Trucking News Hub has grown from just this crazy idea, or I don't say crazy, but just a random idea, and the way that it's just like doing its thing, just every day it's evolving, adding new things. And I love it, dude. I think it's so cool, bro, for that just to be happening. And it's you, Steve, and it's Brian, and it's a small group of people that are behind the Trucking News Hub that are pushing it, and you trying to bring more people into it and make it a community type thing. I think it's great, and that goes along with kind of the theme that we were talking about here today,
Yes, sir. What about you, man? What are your exiting comments, plugs, What you got for us, Pedro?
Let's see. My exiting comments, questions, concerns, updates, and plugs will wait for us to do this quick sponsor break here. So we were talking about today about how the Easy Claw system saves you time, saves you money, saves you headache, all these things. Another great thing that's going to save you time, money, headache, all of that stuff is if you get the Trailer Sentry device by our good friends over at 7P GPS. It is an anti-theft solution with GPS that you can put on any air supplied unit, whether it be a tractor or a trailer, and it is going to help you make sure that your stuff is where you left it when you go back to find it. You can check them out, 7pgps.com. Tell them the Logistics Lounge sent you, and you can watch this awesome, amazing produced video here. And, another thing that cost carriers time and money and is a consistent headache is trying to find truck parking. So that's why we partner with our good friends over at Freight Ninja. They have got over 40 locations across the United States, and you can call them, get yourself a location all along your journey, or one that you could park at every single night. Brokers, you could add value to your shippers by letting them know that you have a place to park those trucks that their freight is going on every night. Carriers, you can add value to your recruiting process by letting your drivers know that you have a safe, secure spot for them to park their truck and trailer when they're done at the end of the day. Make sure you use code Lounge Ninja. You can hit them up at freightninja.com. And here's another amazingly produced video by our good friend Hunter. And that's pretty much going to do it for us, ladies and germs. But before we head out, we're going to tell you what we got coming up on Friday. We talked about large cars and guitars a few times today, and we're going to have someone else that we met there. The gentleman, Kurt, from, oh my gosh, and it totally left my brain. Wow. That's completely embarrassing. Let me pull up my calendar here so I can know what I'm talking about. Dude, I'm telling you, life with a brain injury, it's hard, man. It is really, really, really
It's
hard.
dude, I have so much sympathy for you, man. It's a real thing. Like, I mean, my IT Brian has the same issue, and talking to you two during the day and realizing, I mean, not to dwell on that, but I mean, yeah, it's a real thing. How quick it can disappear from your thought, and we try to help you bring it back.
I know that you understand it, and I know before I get to the final point, I know so many people watch the show and they're like, man, this guy's an idiot. Like, he doesn't know what he's going to say. And it's like, dude, you have no idea. I've got all this written down, notes planned out, everything I want to say. And then my brain injury's like, yeah, we're going to make sure that doesn't work out for you. And it's gone, dude. It's gone. Sometimes it comes back. Sometimes it doesn't. But that's why I write notes down. So when I lose it, I can bring you back. So Friday, we're going to have on a wonderful gentleman that we met at Large Cars and Guitars. He owns a business called Town Square Medical, and he focuses on driver health and medicine. Does all kinds of things from PCP work, and we're not talking about the narcotic. We're talking about your primary care physician. Get your minds out of the gutters, people. And he actually today was telling me how he did 60 DOT physicals for some local bus drivers up there in the Virginia area that he's at. So he's going to come on Friday. We're going to talk about some medical stuff for you drivers, some things that y'all need to be on the lookout for health-wise, and give y'all some information to navigate the difficult parts of this industry when it comes to your med cards and all the other things that you guys got to deal with medically. So make sure you tune in for that. And hopefully we will get the Freight Hound on the show Friday.
He's here right now. He's here right
live.
now.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Oh my God! Look at. I didn't even know she changed it. Hopefully, we can get the Freight Hound on the show because he'll be live from the Truckers Jamboree at the Iowa 80, the world's largest truck stop in Walcott, Iowa. He is there right now with our good friend Nate Johnson and Robert Bain from Freight Movement. And Steve, I am trying to get Bain and Hunter to arm wrestle.
dude, that'd be sick.
That would be sick. My money.
Only if we can do it live.
Hunter called me and he said, Pedro, if Bane rips my arm off, I hope the lounge has the money to pay my medical bill. It's gonna be good. Hey, and speaking of that, before we go ahead and end it,
Hunter just texted me.
if you are going to be traveling along Interstate 80, anywhere near Walcott, Iowa, the Iowa 80 truck stop, the Truckers Jamboree is going on. It starts tomorrow. It runs through Saturday. They're having a bunch of crazy, amazing things going on out there. Lots of people are showing up. I heard today that Mike Rowe is actually going to be there. If you don't know who Mike Rowe is, don't know who you've been living at, go Google it. So I heard he's going to be there along with a bunch of other amazing people. So make sure y'all guys go out there and support the trucking community and the world's largest truck stop. With that, as I always say, chunk them deuces, Mr. Hound. And don't worry, Steve, I'll do it. Roll that beautiful bean foot.
The views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.